he's just been picking them off really in this race, but now he's got somebody very hot in his mirrors, and that's not going to be easy.
Continuing to lead, and just Jose having little looks everywhere, still not able to get around him. What an unbelievable defensive masterclass this is from Unorthodox. Pit window, we reckon, is open, so the game reckons that these guys need to make one more pit stop for a fresh set of inters. As we see just Jose having a little look to the inside. Dan tries to close the door, squeezes up against the pit wall. It goes late on the brakes this Dan, and somehow he's going to hold on to that position. Wow, unbelievable racing that was from Unorthodox. Just Jose had the inside line. Dan went so late on the brakes and managed to hold it down on the outside, and just Jose wasn't able to cling onto the position. That is incredible racing there from Unorthodox. Really got his elbows massively there in that little battle, but just Jose still not able to get ahead of Dan. But is he going to be able to do it now? He's going to have the outside. Dan's going to try and throw one back up the inside. As he is. Oh, look at that. He's gone deep into the corner though. And I think just Jose's got to have that move done. He has. Just Jose swoops round into the lead of the Russian Grand Prix here at Motive Racing. Dan can fight it no more. He put up a valiant Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen. We're here on the formation lap for round 13 of Motive Racing's Formula 1 Championship on the Codemasters Formula 1 game on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platform. We've got 15 cars out on the track, 10 regulars, 5 reserves jumping in. As late standings for tonight, we've got Joram, the championship leader, starting this one on pole position. His big championship rival, Game for Life, will be starting this one from the back, so he will be a little bit frustrated with the way qualifying went. He crashed out of qualifying early. I think he got disqualified actually, or maybe even a grid penalty, I think it was, for crashing into his teammate in the qualifying session. So Game for Life has got it all to do here, but he's also starting on what looks to be, is that the red wall? Soft tyres, I'm not sure, but regardless, anyway, yeah, it is a soft tyres that Game for Life's on. But we're about to go racing here. The lights are about to come on here at Sochi for round 13 of the season. Here we go. The lights are coming on now. Once the 5 red lights are out, we will be underway for the next round of the Codemasters Formula 1 game championship here at Motive, and it is lights out and away we go. And it's a good start from Joram, and there's somebody lagging all over the place there in the background. Fearless LFC there, just looking like he was jumping around a bit, but Sands up into 6th ahead of Jay Contra. Joram leads up towards turn 1 as Jaffa Cake and Sands side by side in towards the first corner. Jaffa Cake backs out of that one on Rednass, and Rednass holds on to 4th place as Jaffa Cake loses out there a little bit, and Warren is up into 8th place after the first couple of corners. What a start from Warren. Great first couple of corners there from him, as we see there Sand dropping down the pack like a stone there down to 8th place. Joram leads ahead of Ultra Capitalist in the early stages of this race, ahead of Fearless LFC. Then we got Rednas, Jaffa Cake in the background there, Warren in 6th with J Contra, San, Nemvidic. There's Mr. Basil, Horatio, Raki, DJ Full Magfire, and Game for Life. And Game for Life has had a horror show of a start. If his qualifying went badly, the race start is 100 times worse. He's without a front wing, and we're not even to the first sector yet. Game for Life's had a horror show of a start to the race. 0.4 of a second is the gap at the front between Joram and Ultra Capitalist at the moment, as you've got Fearless LFC in the background there trying to get involved in the battle. You got Rednas, Jaffa Cake, Warren there, J Contra, San, Mr. Basil, Horatio completing the top 10. Then Nemvidic, Raki, DJ Phil, Magfire, and Game for Life at the back without that front wing. What a horrible start here from this man in the McLaren. Could not have gone much worse there for our championship contender, long-time championship leader this season as well. But Joram currently has the ascendancy. And oh no, Ultra Capitalist has lost it on those medium tyres there. They would have taken a little bit longer to get up to temperature. He's going to drop down the field there. He's down in 9th place now. He's been passed by Rednas, Jaffa Cake, Warren, J Contra, and San, and Mr. Basil as well. Ultra Capitalist now down in the mid-pack as Joram fastest up of the race there, obviously at the end of lap 1, seeing as he's the leader of the race. Fearless LFC keeping him on his toes at the moment. Rednas there, only a second back. What a drive from Rednas so far. What a drive from Warren. Our late standing tonight, a reserve for this race here, round 13 of this season. Side by side with Jaffa Cake into turn 1, manages to get ahead of him there as Jaffa Cake cuts the inside of turn 2. But Warren, what an opening lap from this man. 14th to 4th in the space of a lap. That is absolutely incredible scenes there, as we see Mr. Basil getting ahead of San up into 7th. He's going to have the inside for turn 4, and in the background there, Ultra Capitalist going around the outside of San up into 8th. San's going to have the inside for turn 5. Is he going to be able to get it back alongside him once again? A Ferrari and the Haas side by side, and the Haas just chops him off there, and Ultra Capitalist has got it done up into 8th place, as now San's got Horatio hot on his heels with Nemvidic, Raki. There's Magfire, DJ Phil, and Game for Life in the pits. Our man currently second in the championship coming into this round is going to lose a lot of points to the championship to Joram tonight. But Joram currently doing everything he has to do. 4/10 is his gap at the moment over Fearless LFC. You got Rednas there in the background in 3rd place, Warren 4th. There's Jaffa Cake competing in the top 5. Bit of a gap back to J Contra. There's Mr. Basil, Ultra Capitalist coming through your shot. There's San in 9th, Horatio, Nemvidic in 11th place with Raki, Magfire, DJ Phil, and Game for Life. Absolutely detached from the rest of the pack so far in this race. Not gone to plan in any way, shape or form for Game for Life. But Joram out in front has a 0.2 of a second gap here over Fearless LFC, as Fearless is really pushing him over these first couple of laps. It looked after the end of the first lap like Joram might be ordinary service resumed, but it looks as though Fearless is now right on his tail. And in fact, Fearless, Rednas and Warren all quicker than Joram on that previous lap. So Joram is going to have a real task on here, as Fearless looks to the outside in towards the first corner. Sands disconnected from the lobby. Don't know what's happened there to him, but he's clearly disconnected, as you got Fearless getting ahead of Joram up into the lead of the race, coming through turn 1 and 2. Joram's now going to have his hands full of Rednas, who's going to be all over his rearview mirrors in towards turn 4, but at the moment he can't get around him, as Warren is really close on these guys. Now Warren getting all over that curb there, and he's going to lose out a little bit. In fact, no, that was actually Jaffa Cake there getting wide. Jaffa Cake down to P6, and Ultra Capitalist is up into 7th place, but that is Jaffa Cake dropping down the field down to 13th place, and he's really lost a lot of time there. Nemvidic has got ahead of Ultra Capitalist up into 7th place, but that's a real shame there, obviously, for Jaffa Cake. And San, obviously having disconnected, is down in P12 in this race. Magfire's just got ahead of Raki up into 10th, but Raki's got him straight back on the exit of the corner, as the Red Bull there going through your shot there, going ahead of Mr. Basil. Mr. Basil in the Williams getting ever so wide, being passed by Raki and Magfire, and Raki getting ahead of Ultra Capitalist as well. So Raki gaining 3 places in basically about 3 corners there. Great driving from Raki Maget, who is also one of our regulars in the Porsche Cup on a Monday night, driving absolutely brilliantly here in Sochi tonight on the F1 game as well, as Raki there holding his line into the corner. Magfire gets ahead of Ultra Capitalist up into 9th place, and Mr. Basil, Mr. Jaffa Cake still just behind these guys at the moment. At the moment, that was a hiccup, but Fearless LFC currently leading this race by 0.3 of a second ahead of Warren, and Warren, after a very strong first lap, has continued on in the same vein over the next couple of laps. He is now he's going to now have DRS down the start finish straight into turn 1. Warren's going to try and make this move up the inside of Fearless LFC. Here we go, Warren down the inside, makes the move. Brilliant stuff there from the Aston Martin. A little bit of a twitch there on the exit of the corner, still side by side, as Fearless is trying to come back at him here, coming through this long left-hander, which really kills the right rear tyres. The Red Bull there of Joram's getting involved. Warren there trying to thread the needle as that Fearless LFC trying to go around the outside, but he runs him out of road there, and Warren just about holding on to the position there, but Fearless is really pushing him here, as Joram and Rednas still in the background, and there's still still waiting in the wings, waiting to pounce, waiting for the opportunity. But Warren, 7878, has gone from 14th place on the grid to the lead here on lap 4. Game for Life has just set the fastest lap of the race from P15. He's got a long way to go here in this one. Mr. Basil and Ultra Cathis both in the pits at the end of lap 3. But it's all going off here at the front. These 4 guys putting on an absolute show here. Nembidic has got 4 tenths back to Magfire. Raki there running just behind those guys in 9th place. But this is where it's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Warren, Fearless and Joram and Rednass on the back of these guys as well, as now Fearless going to the inside here of Warren, goes a little bit deep into the corner, and Warren's going to try and get the cut back if he can, still almost alongside him, but Warren can't quite get back at him there. Fearless holding it around the outside, they're still side by side. Warren down the inside, oh, gives him space there. Fearless and Warren, bit of contact, and that allows Joram to slip through up into second as the cameraman just takes a little bit of a day off there, but Joram wasn't able to actually complete the move there. Obviously Warren got a better exit out of the corner and holds on to that P2. Rednass in the background of this, watching, waiting, hoping that these guys might trip over each other, coming over the line to complete lap 4, lap 5, onto lap 5 here of 27 for the Russian Grand Prix at Motive Racing, and it's currently Fearless leading. Bit of a, Warren really chopped Joram off there, as are we 3 wide into turn 1? I think we are. Well, Joram is going to try and make the move here. Warren is up into the lead once again ahead of Fearless, and Joram's lost out to Rednass, and oh no, the championship leader Joram has had a spin coming on the exit of turn 2, and he might lose out to Jay Contra here, so Joram in the wars as well. It's not just Game for Life of the championship contenders struggling tonight. Joram there having a big moment as he looked like he made a bit of contact there with either Warren or Rednass, and Joram's down to P5 in this race, and now Warren's made a mistake. Warren's in the wall, and he looks like he's escaped without too much damage. He's still got his front wing, but has he sustained enough damage to warrant a pit stop here at the end of this lap, as Jay Contra is up into P2? Where has he come from? Oh my goodness, as Joram back up into P3. Rednass has got a bit of damage there by the looks of it. He's lost out to Joram, and Warren's now going to try around the outside of Rednass and move up to 4th place. Or did Rednass take Warren out, and that's why he's conceding the position? Maybe that's the case. Maybe Rednass there being very sportsmanlike and letting Warren back through. Whatever the case, those two have lost out. Joram back on the podium, and Jay Contra in 2nd place, but albeit 6 seconds behind Fearless LFC. So it's the reserves really shining tonight here at Motive. Out of the top 5, 3 of them are reserves. Out of the podium runners, 2 of them are reserves. The only non-reserve on the podium at the moment, as it stands in this race, is the championship leader Joram, who is currently putting the pressure on Jay Contra and trying to get himself back up into 2nd place. As we see Rednass losing out to Horatio and Magfire there. So I don't know what happened to Rednass, but Horatio and Magfire into 5th and 6th places respectively. We see Rednass coming in at the end of lap 5. Lap 5. But Horatio and Magfire battling it out over 4th place. DRS will be enabled for Magfire as they're coming over the start finish line here to start the 6th lap of the race. Here we go. Is Magfire going to be able to hold this? In fact, no, he's made the move there on Horatio very nicely up into 4th place there. Horatio trying to come back up into turn 1, has a little look to the inside, can't feint it, and for the time being Magfire gets that move done up into 4th place. In the meantime, Rednass has come into the pits and he's coming out. He looks like he's come out behind Warren, so Warren's jumped him, and no, Game for Life is out. Game for Life has crashed out of the race. What a shame there for Game for Life. You've got to feel for him there. He's out of this one. We've got double waved yellow flags in sector 3. I wonder if it's going to be a safety car. It'd be nice if it is, because we'll be able to get him in the box and do a bit of commentary like we did at Monza. But I don't know what's happened there to Game for Life. That is obviously a real crushing blow for him. It's looking very strong over the course of this season, in the first part of the season, but the last few rounds it's really gone Pete Tong for Game for Life, and now he's obviously going to take no further part in this one and want to score 0 or nil point for this one. But Horatio there running in 5th place. He's currently just under a second off at the back of Magfire in that battle for 4th place. See what Game for Life's saying in the Discord. Usually pops up in the Discord quite a bit. So I'm sure that we will. Yeah, he's saying, can I join again? Yeah, let's get him in. Let's get Game for Life in the commentary box, guys. Do excuse us for about 30 seconds. We're just going to have a very quick blue screen whilst we get Game for Life in the commentary box. Last time out, he didn't have the audio settings enabled. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get that sorted out tonight, and we can hear Game for Life on the actual comms. Oh mate, come on! I just want to invite him. Like, come on, just get him in. Right, there we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to obviously have to walk him through the settings. So for that, I need to just pull up my menu again. Let's put my headphones on so I can hear. Come on, buddy, jump in. Hello, mate. Last time we had you in, we couldn't hear you on the stream. So if I walk you through the party settings, it should be all right. What you want to do, you want to go to your menu, then you want to go to party, and then party settings, the fourth one down, and then where it says allow your voice to be shared, put always allow. Cool. All right, let's just check it. Right, give me a 1 2 3 1 2 3.
3 1 2 3.
Right, let's just check. Let's make sure it's working.
3 1 2 3.
Yep, we're on. Perfect. That's brilliant stuff. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Game for Life in the commentary box, as we had in Monza. Really unfortunate there, mate. We saw crashed out of the race. We saw you setting fastest lap times in clear air, having made that early pit stop. Just tell us what happened on the first lap. We saw you without the front wing, and unfortunately, it's gone horribly wrong for you tonight.
The start was not good, but when we came to the third corner, I think it was kind of it was a big mess between many of the cars at the back, so I could pass some, but then I just was too aggressive on the acceleration, so I lost the car and lost the wing.
It's obviously a crushing blow for you. And Joam currently running in second. Fearless looks very quick, currently leading the race, so that will take a little bit of points off of Joam. But with the points as they are, obviously Joam coming into this, I believe, the championship leader. The points, I need to update those. I need to update the standings as they're not currently up to date. But in terms of Joam still going in this race, is this are you starting to feel like this championship's slipping away? What can you do in these remaining races? Obviously, after this round, we've got 7 races left in the season. What do you feel you can do from here in, buddy?
Yeah, I think maybe it's gonna be too hard now from now on to compete for the championship, because I haven't been consistent in the races, and I'm just going to be focusing on my races now from now on.
Just turning up to the races and looking to have fun, and hopefully take a few wins. That's a good mentality to have. I mean, I share that mentality in another league on Project Cars that I'm competing in at the moment, where I was in for the championship, and now I'm kind of like, so I fully empathise with that state of mind that you're in at the moment, and it's horrible, the realisation that you're probably more than likely not going to be able to be in the fight. But there's still plenty of rounds left, and anything can happen. If Joam has to take a couple of weeks out or something like that, then it could all be thrown up into the mix again. So it's definitely not over, but albeit it does look unlikely at this point in the season. But currently at the moment on track, we've got Fearless LFC leading the race. Joam is closing him down though. The gap was 6 seconds a couple of laps ago. It's now down at 4 seconds, so Joam's bringing the gap down since losing the position. Magfire's got himself up into the podium spots here. 2 reserves at the moment, Magfire and Jay Contra, dicing it out for 3rd place. Joam, the only regular driver at the moment in the top 4 out of these guys. The other 3 are all reserves for tonight, so the reserves have jumped in. Mr. Basil's crew have really shone here at Sochi. Mr. Basil running down in P12, but I've got to say a big shout out to Mr. Basil, because he always gets a couple of extra drivers in, and they're always good drivers as well. They're always clean, always fair, and it's great to have Mr. Basil part of the motive racing community, as he always does his bit for us. But we currently got Fearless coming into the pits. The race leader is in to make his first pit stop of the night. Joam still yet to make his first pit stop. He's done 9 laps on the soft tyres so far, as has Magfire, as has Jay Contra. Horatio started on the medium tyres. Horatio, big dark horse in this race. He's been very quiet over the course of this one, but Game for Life, I've seen you multiple times doing this strategy, starting out on the medium tyres, just quietly creeping your way into the race, and he's only 8 seconds off for the lead. and he's still got a soft stint. He can put the softs on for a couple of stints to go. So what do you reckon about Horatio at the moment? He's looking strong.
Yeah, the last time I saw him on mediums, I was in France when he went like 12 laps on them, and then we lost a lot of places because he went too far on the mediums. But I think he's a great driver, but he's just, I think, pushing the tires too much.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe what he really needs at this point, I think he desperately needs a safety car, because when you're starting on the mediums and you're changing to the soft, always we just see him have a big slide there. But the thing about starting on the mediums is that obviously you kind of limit yourself, because if you don't have a safety car, you don't really get to save the tyres at all, because you don't get that opportunity to just sort of like relax for a bit, calm it down. When you have a safety car, you don't really take any life out of the tyres, because you're going at such a slow speed that you can just conserve what life you have in the tyres. But so far we haven't had any safety cars, and what that means is that Horatio is going to be doing this entire stint at racing speeds, which will obviously increase the tyre, will accelerate the tyre wear by quite a bit. And at the moment he's probably going to have to go at least, I would say, 16 or 17 laps on these mediums, which at racing speeds is quite a long time. That's a long distance to go on one set of medium tyres.
He really needs a safety car right now.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I really do think that for Horatio to bring himself into this, he needs a safety car. Fearless up the inside of Raki up into fourth. Nemvidic has just got Uldrich Affist pushing his way up the inside. Uldrich Affist has made that move, and he makes it stick there very nicely.
I think Rakim has had a very good season, even though he hasn't. I don't think you know either, but has he driven some F1 games before?
Raki?
Yeah.
Not before this season, I don't think. His son is Joram, so he's always watched Joram. Last season he was often supporting Joram in the comments, but I think this season he wanted to give it a go himself. He's obviously a racer on ACC in the Porsche Cup, an occasional racer in the GT3s as well, so you know, he's a sim racer, but I don't think before this season he was on the F1 game, but he's really taken it like a duck to water, to be honest.
Yeah,
as we see Joe and Magfire both in the pits here at the end of lap 11, so looks like they've already made their stops and they're off and on their way down to the end of the pit lane. You've got Magfire in the background there just following those guys out, but interestingly, looks as though they put the medium tyres on all three of them, so that's obviously Joam can probably go to the end. 16 laps on the medium tyres is doable, and likewise Magfire and Jay Contra can probably go to the end on their mediums. Noticing on the timing screen, Uldrich Affist has got the gap down to 0.4 of a second between Fearless LFC and Uldrich Affist. Since his early woes where he struggled a little bit, he got involved in a bit of a scuffle with I think it was Warren. He's really brought himself back into this one, currently running in third place, only half a second off of Fearless LFC. So at the moment Uldrich Affist looking strong, could be very much on for a podium here in this race, but obviously that is without Joam having come in and made his pit stop, and obviously Warren as well, so it could all change over the course of this race. But if he can get himself onto the back of Horatio or Fearless, then maybe, just maybe, he might have a chance. He's up the inside here of Fearless. Look at this, Uldrich Affist is going to make that move, holds it around the next corner, and Uldrich Affist into P2 for the time being here in this race. Hasn't done too much of a stint on these soft tyres so far. He needs to come in again. He won't be able to get these soft tyres to the end, but he'll be able to put on a set of mediums and comfortably go to the end, I would imagine. Although having said that, he's coming in, and that is a strange one, because he's only done 7 laps on those soft. He could probably afford to take a couple of more laps out of them and give himself a bit of security when putting those mediums on. If he went a little bit longer on these soft, he'd be able to take more life out of those mediums once he puts them on. But he is coming in nevertheless. So Uldrich Affist into the box. Raki's also following him in there in the background. So both of those two are in. Raki's already off and away. The Red Bull mechanics on this Formula 1 2021 game, the Co-Masters Formula 1 game, just as good as they are in real life, showing that they are the best pit crew in the pit lane. We've got Warren on the back of Magfire here, 2 tenths between those two. Mr. Basil's just got ahead of Raki as Raki's still emerging from the pits. Aldrich Affis just coming into turn 1 now, so he holds on there ahead of Mr. Basil in 9th place. There's Raki and P11 just coming towards the end of the start-finish straight now. But Magfire and Warren currently battling this one out for 5th and 6th, and they are just behind Nem Vidic. So Nem Vidic leading this 3-car train for 4th, as Nem Vidic very wide there. Definitely exceeding track limits a little bit. Track limits penalties so far in this race not too bad. Only 3 drivers have picked them up, as we see Magfire trying to go around the outside of Nem Vidic here. It goes ever so wide though and completes the move off the track. If that was a real life move, Magfire would have got a penalty for that. He made that move well and truly whilst exceeding track limits, but he gets away with it by the looks of it on this game. Warren follows Magfire through and gets ahead of Nem Vidic. Nem Vidic losing 2 places in the space of a couple of corners.
Really needs to fix now.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely Nem Vidic is going to be falling off the cliff at the moment. 12 laps, 13 laps now on those soft tyres. They're going to be on a knife's edge. He clearly wants to give himself the best chance when putting those medium tyres on, and you can't blame him for that, as he's coming into the pits now at the end of lap 13. We've got Horatio still leading by 3 seconds. Fearless is closing the gap on 10 lap fresher tyres. Jay Contra's just got ahead of Nem Vidic, so Nem Vidic must have made it. No, he's in the pits, that's why, obviously, because he's obviously got worn out soft tyres. Those are absolutely done, and he can put a set of mediums on and comfortably get to the end from here, so that will be a nice little bit of respite from him after suffering for the last few laps, I would imagine, as we've still got Warren on the back of Magfire right now. So Mr. Basil up into 9th ahead of Nem Vidic. Raki following him through. Nem Vidic is going to come out of the pits, and he's going to come out in P11. He's a long way ahead of Rednas, San and DJ Phil, who have all had very calamitous races here tonight at Russia. Warren still on the back of Magfire. These two still battling it out for 4th and 5th. That was a hiccup. But right now it's Horatio. We see Warren there very wide coming through that corner. He's on the soft tyres is Warren, so he needs to make that pace advantage last whilst those tyres are still in their window.
He's very slow for being on the softs.
Yeah, I think maybe they're starting to wear off already. He's on his 8th lap since making that pit stop for the softs. But Warren will obviously be able to put the mediums on for his final stint. The mediums really do seem to be the tyre of choice here at Sochi. No one opts in for the hards. I haven't seen a single driver pit early and put the hards on, and that, I think, just goes to show how much of a technical circuit this is and how much traction is key around Sochi. And obviously you've got a lot of slow corners, you've got heavy braking zones as well. The hards just don't seem to really light up around this track, and you haven't seen anybody take the risk and try and go long in this race, and that is probably the reason why, because they just do not have any pace. The pace loss on the hard tyres is significantly more around this circuit than you would get around your average circuit, say for example Silverstone or Spa or something like that.
Fearless overtook Horatio.
Yeah, it looked like Horatio is now into P2. He's gone very long on his medium tyres though, and I think what Horatio is trying to do at this point, Game for Life, I would imagine he's probably trying to go as long as he can so he can put the softs on at the end. That would make the most sense.
He did the same in France. It didn't work that well, so he really needs to pit now for either softs or what did he start on?
He started on mediums. He's on the same tyres he started on.
Then he either has to pit for softs in like 2 laps or go on hards now if he wants to keep higher positions than he will in maybe 2 laps or 3.
Yeah, I think it's probably now a case of saving his race, because those medium tyres are going to be going off very shortly. And but saying that though, if he puts the softs on now, he's going to have to go 12 laps on them, and that is going to be quite a hefty stint. But he's in the pits here, Horatio, just before Joam would have probably made the move on him. DRS aided down the start finish, but Horatio manages to stop that from happening, comes into the pits. Joam up into P2 and still closing that gap to Fearless. Joam has been nipping away at that gap over these last few laps. Game for Life, I'm sure you're sat there hoping that Fearless can hold on for this one, but Joam looking very strong and looking like he's really going to be getting on the tail of Fearless pretty shortly. Aldrich Affist and Jay Contra moving up into 4th and 5th places as Horatio and Jaffa Cake both in the pits. Jaffa Cake will probably emerge, I would imagine, probably around Raki or Nem Vidic, I would guess.
6 for Horatio for on soft.
Yeah, Horatio he's about 25 seconds behind the race leader Fearless. I don't know, I said earlier on I think Horatio could maybe target a podium in this one, but having said that though, he's got to go 12 laps on these soft tyres. He'll have a pace advantage over the guys ahead of him like Aldrig and Jay Contra. He'll definitely be faster at this point in the race, but I think that 12 laps is too much of a stretch. We saw how much Nemvidic was struggling after 13 laps. They really hit the cliff on the 13th lap, and I think even after 12 laps they're going to be pretty much at their boiling point. So I honestly can't see, I honestly really can't, I can't see Horatio doing much in this race. If he's able to keep those soft tyres going at optimal range all the way to the checker flag, I'll be very impressed indeed, but I just do not think it's possible. I'd love to be proven wrong, but I just can't see it happening. It doesn't seem to be taking too much life out of him at the moment though.
It's a smart spot to move, I don't know, but it's not that great if tracks like this, because
yeah, it's heavy and tyre wear.
Yeah,
Very heavy.
especially with the
100%.
going over the yellow sauce, the yellow curbs there into the wall.
Yeah, you're always running the risk around here, but at the moment Horatio's kind of just, I think he is taking it easy. He's not taking too much life out of these soft tyres in the early stages of the stint. He knows he's got to play the long game here, because if he's going to get these tyres to the end, then he really needs to be conservational here. He's not really gaining on Jay Contra, despite the fact that he's probably got the pace to, and despite the fact that he's on a much faster tyre and fresher faster tyres at that. But he just puts a lap there on a Ferrari, which is San retired from the race very early on. He's got DJ Phil closing on him, so that's, I think it's San's AI. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's his AI in the car at the moment.
Yeah, it's ghosted for me.
Yeah.
For his car. But the thing is now for Horatio is not tire wear. He needs to get past the people fast, and if he have enough of an advantage over them, he can probably get a podium or maybe fourth, I don't know.
Yeah, well in this lap he started to close in a little bit on Jay Contra, but as we said earlier on, Horatio really needs a safety car at this point, otherwise he's just not going to get anywhere here in this race. But we're currently watching Jaffa Cake here. He's on the back of Nemvidic trying to make some progress here. These two can both go to the end of the race. Jaffa Cake's on slightly fresher tyres, 2 laps younger, not going to make a huge great difference, but DRS aided here coming down this straight, and that is a very routine move indeed there from Jaffa Cake up into the final point paying position, swoops around the outside of Nemvidic, and beautifully done there from Jaffa Cake.
4 tenths behind, no, 2 seconds behind Rocky now.
Yeah, there is Rocky.
Yellow overtook Fearless.
Oh yes, he did. Oh my goodness, sorry guys. We have completely neglected the lead battle here. Jelram now has the lead of the race. He's been reeling Fearless in a little bit over these last couple of laps. I think the gap must have just suddenly come down there, because he's now got the lead. Fearless is running in P2 though, still on the back of him, and is clearly not giving up on this one. If he can keep himself close into this DRS zone here, he might have a chance of coming back at him. As we see, 6 tenths is the gap. Now the DRS will be wide open. He'll have the slipstream, but the corner's going to come within the nick of time there for Jelram, and Fearless isn't going to be able to come back at him here. But if he keeps himself close coming out of the final corner, we could be seeing Fearless definitely eyeing up and move into turn 1.
Behind Rocky.
Yeah, he is. We see half a second between these two at the moment. Jaffa Cake looking to try and exploit any little weaknesses in Raki at the moment. He's really close on him quickly.
The youth team versus.
Well, here he goes. Look at this. He's going to make the move game for life. Look at this. He's made the move at the inside, but Raki holding it around the outside. Brilliant driving from Raki. Great stuff there. Jelram has got Fearless looking to his inside in towards turn 1. The DRS open for Fearless, but to no avail, and Jelram holding it around the outside for now. This is a great little battle here between these two for the lead of the race. Fearless hasn't given up and hasn't dropped off since losing the lead to Jelram a couple of laps ago. He's kept with it, stuck to the task really resolutely, and this one looks to be raging on to the end.
Jaffa Cake spun.
Oh, is he? Oh no! Jaffa Cake's lost it, and he's lost out to Nemvidic there. Nemvidic is just over a second behind Raki at this point. Obviously we saw Jaffa Cake passing Nemvidic a couple of laps ago, but then Jaffa Cake proceeded to go after Raki, and now And then Vidic looks like he's closing in on Raki a little bit. Raki's once again going to have a car in his mirrors, and Mr. Basil's lost it. Oh no, he's not. He's in the pits. Sorry, he's in the pits. Mr. Basil in the pits.
Horatio is on the back of Conquer now.
Yeah, look at this, 0.3 of a second between these two at the moment. But it's a little bit too far back at this point to go for the move. But Horatio, we said earlier on, is he going to take too much life out of his soft tyres too quickly in this final stint of the race, or is he going to look after them and keep them going all the way to the checkered flag? That's the big question here, and ultimately we're going to find out the answer to that pretty shortly. But he's really close on the back of Jay Contra at the moment, and has a little look here. DRS wide open around the outside. Is Jay Contra going to throw it back up the inside? No, he's not. Horatio gets that done up into 5th place. He's a long way behind Aldrich. So really, this is about it for Horatio. He needs to look after these tyres and defend this position.
And they overtook the other one.
Oh, Fearless has got the lead back. Look at this side-by-side action here coming through turn 2 and 3. Oh my goodness. Fearless is round the outside, but Joam's back up the inside, side-by-side, coming out towards turn 4. Joam just squeezes back through. Fearless is going to have a look and try and get alongside him here. This is absolutely great racing from these front two as Joam holds it around the outside. Fearless, I thought, was going to come back in him here. We got double waved yellow flags through sector 3. Not quite sure why. I'm sure we'll find out shortly what's going on there. It looks like Raki might be the cause of those double waved yellows, as he's down to P10. He's lost out to Jaffa Cake there. So Raki having a moment. He's dropped back by 5 seconds. Joam though has got the lead back. Fearless though is not giving this one up. Great little battle between these two, and the championship leader is back in the lead of the race, but Fearless is doing a really good job tonight, giving a great account of himself on his debut here at Motive as a reserve. We've got Raki out in the pits at this point from P12. Clearly some damage on that car, which triggered those yellow flags coming through the final sector. But let's stick with these two at the moment, as we've got 7 laps left to go here at Sochi. Joam and Fearless putting on a great show out the front here on the Motive Racing YouTube channel here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Drop a like on the video, guys, and show your appreciation for these two. They're putting on an absolutely great show out the front, as a half a second between the two of them coming over the line to complete their 20th laps of the race. And is Fearless going to be close enough with the DRS open? I don't think so this time around, as Joam still holding on to that lead. These two just putting a lap there on a back marker who would appear to be Raki. So Raki's out once again in P12, but Joam has pulled out a little bit of a gap to Fearless over this lap, half a second between them, down to 4/10 into the braking zones. But
and Warren is going over.
It's looking like he's got this. Yeah, Warren is down the outside here of if I know he's down the inside there of Jay Contra. Gets the move done up towards turn 1 before we even get to the corner. Jay Contra looking to try and come back at him in the mirrors, but Warren's got that done. What's happened?
Fearless crashed.
Has Fearless had a spin? Oh no! Oh no! Fearless is going to lose out to Magpie there. That could be the battle for the lead done and dusted. Fearless there has had a big moment. Yeah, it's definitely, that's definitely going to be the race win out of the window there for Fearless. It looks like he should be alright to continue, but that's
somehow
definitely going to...
his wing didn't get damaged too much.
Yeah, he is quite lucky, to be honest there. He's got about a second back to Aldrich Havist. We'll find out whether he's got damage or not, depending on the pace relative to Aldrich Havist. These two were pretty even earlier on, but obviously Aldrich had the moments.
Mr.
Basil on the back of Rednass here. These two battling over the final points paying position tonight. This is going to go down to the wire, I think, between these two. Aldrich's still on the back of Fearless though. Look at this attempt between them as Fearless is coming into the pits. What a shame there. He clearly feels that he's got too much damage on that Aston Martin to go all the way until the end of the race, and that is actually a real shame there for Fearless, as he was looking set for a possible win, but at the very minimum it looking like he was going to be on the podium. Now that's all gone out of the window there for him. Horatio and Warren battling it out for 5th and 6th. Horatio made the move a few laps ago, but obviously with the...
overtakes Rednass.
Yeah, Mr. Basil's got ahead of Rednass there up into P10, but it looks as though Warren is really close on the back of Horatio here and gets him up to turn 1. So Warren back up into 4th place there, down the inside. Beautifully done there from Warren. Horatio though trying to hold it around the outside and hold on to the position there. That was a bit naughty there from Horatio. He only kept on to the position due to cutting turn 2. Jaffa Cake is having to defend quite heavily here from Mr. Basil, but I want to come back to Horatio there. The only reason why he was able to gain that position was because he cut turn 2, and that in real life would be penalised you'd have to, at the very minimum, have to get the position back, but possibly even pick up a 5-second penalty. So he's lucky there. It's a lucky boy that he got away with that one. We got Jaffa Cake here. Has got Mr. Basil down the outside. Can Mr. Basil hold it and do exactly what Horatio did? Yes, he can. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this, and this is where I start to think that maybe what we need is to put the corner cutting stringency on strict, because people are able to cut the inside of corners, gain positions because of it, as we see Warren back up the inside of Horatio up into 4th there, but they're able to cut the corner and gain positions because they cut the corner, and I don't think that's right. I really think that's a little bit sketch.
They can also gain a lot of time on the car in front. So
yeah, of course, and ultimately a lot of people are really testing that to its limits tonight. So I don't know, maybe we'll have to consider putting this corner cutting stringency up to strict, and obviously we'll have to let everyone know beforehand, because it wouldn't really be fair to do it without a heads up, because then everyone would be getting penalties left, right and centre. But yeah, definitely needs to be looked at for sure.
Jaffa Cake is still keeping up with Mr. Basil.
Yeah, he's still on the back of him, but he's just looking, he's hounding, hassling and trying to work away at him, but still can't just at the moment. Andrew Smith there, regular racer at XL, and occasionally pops into race here at Motive as well, saying great race by the top two. It was, mate, it was, but it's such a shame obviously that Fearless had that little mistake and ended up with damage. Is now down in P7. Can he recover himself to possibly maybe a top 5 in this race with 5 laps to go on fresh soft tyres? They're going to be very, very quick in the last stage of this race, possibly even P4, because Warren and Horatio are battling it out over 4th and 5th. So you know what, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that Fearless could be, I reckon he's going to get a top 4 here. I think Fearless for a 4th place tonight. DJ Fools picked up a penalty.
I go for minimum P5, max P5.
Yeah, I think that he just gets ahead of Jay Contra there. So Fearless there up into 6th. He's now got 6.5 seconds up to the squabbling Warren and Horatio, but Horatio on slightly worn out soft tyres now, and Warren is on the mediums, reasonably worn out but not really too much. So it's going to be now Fearless really bringing that gap down to these two over these last, well, it's going to be the last 4 laps now.
Jaffa Cake is still keeping up with Basil, even though he's 3 laps older mediums.
Yeah, he's doing a good job at the moment, it's Jaffa Cake, to be fair. Jaffa Cake had good pace at the start of this race, but he had a few incidents which just dropped him out of the equation a little bit, kind of just dropped him back ever so slightly, and at the moment he's got some decent pace in that car. He can comfortably go to the end of this race, as can Mr. Basil, but Mr. Basil doing a really good job of keeping him behind him. Aldrich Alvis has got the gap down to Magfire, down to 6/10. Also we've got Jaffa Cake still on the back of Mr. Basil at this point. Joram's lead over Magfire almost 7 seconds, so Joram's very much got this in the bag. Yeah, he's got DRS, hasn't he? Look at this. He's looking to the outside as Magfire covers the inside line, and Aldrich Alvis still can't get it around him for the time being. He's really just trying to work away at him though, trying to look for any weaknesses and hoping to pounce if he can.
Joram is running away.
Yeah, Joram is absolutely flying here tonight. What a drive from Joram here at Russia for round 13 of the Formula 1 season here at Motive Racing. Season 2, Joram was a mid-table driver last season in Season 1 here at Motive in the F1 League. Similar to yourself, Game for Life, you two were both sort of in the mid-pack, occasionally near the front, but you two have improved so much over the course of this season. It's now you two...
A lot of big drivers like Matt Hamovich, Green Price,
Unorthodox, yeah, they all left, yeah. But I think you guys are still quicker than you were then. I think you're quicker now than you were then.
Yeah, but I think for me the cars is they're much lighter this year, more like turnable than last year. So that's the thing for me.
Yeah.
But last then.
I mean, it's the same for everyone, though, isn't it? And obviously, if it suits your driving style more, then it will be pleasing for you. But yeah, ultimately, it's the same for everybody. And I strongly feel that if you put Green Pies or Matimovic or Unorthodox in this field right now. I very much think that you would be a match for. Oh no, as we see Jaffa Cake there tagging Mr. Basil in the back. Mr. Basil's not going to be happy about that. Mr. Basil round coming through turns 1 and 2. Yellow flags through sector 1 have now subsided, but Jaffa Cake there a little bit aggressive, tagged him in the back, and Mr. Basil round and has dropped back by 6 seconds off of the back of Jaffa Cake, so that's not gone to plan at all. And I can very much feel a Stewart inquiry probably coming in there from Mr. Basil. As a Magfire in the pits. Magfire in the pits. I think he must have had a spin, or he must have got damage on the car, because Magfire is in. Oh no, he's going for fastest lap, that's why. Magfire coming in to try and get the fastest lap point, as he's got a free pit stop back to Warren. So Magfire now can try and push it for the last couple of laps and get that fastest lap on the board maybe. But Aldrich Affis can now walk it around for P2 as Magfire loses out to Warren there. Warren now onto the podium. Could Magfire live to Rue coming into the pits and going for fastest lap here? He's only 2 seconds behind Warren, but he needs to get ahead of him, and he needs to get ahead of him before the end of this lap if he is going to push for the fastest lap on the final lap. So Magfire really taking a big risk there, has pitted himself off of the podium. Jaffa Cake is closing in a bit on Nemvidic, the gap 1.4 between those two. Jaffa Cake might be able to catch him before the end of this race. These two just about to start the penultimate lap of the race. In the meantime though, Joram leads by almost 8 seconds over Aldrich Avist. What a drive from Aldrich tonight on his debut though. P2 currently in this race really has risen to the occasion absolutely superbly. Warren there running in 3rd place in the final podium spot, with Magfire bringing the gap down and looking to try and pounce here on this final lap, I would presume. We've got Fearless there with an 8/10 of Horatio right now. Horatio has done a long stint on those soft tyres. By the end of this race, Horatio would have had to have done 11 laps on those soft tyres. He has really done a great job here tonight. Such conservation in those soft tyres from Horatio. No safety cars in this race, not a single one, not throughout the entire race.
Horatio is soon going to be overtaken by Fearless, I think.
Yeah, I have a feeling alright. Last lap, but not for these guys. These guys have got one more lap after this. The race leader Joram though is on the final lap. But Magfire within 3/10. I know. We got Magfire on the back of Warren right now as they're coming over the line to start their final lap of the race. He'll get DRS as well, will Magfire here. He looks to the outside. Easy move. Easy done there for Magfire up into 3rd place. And Fearless is going to do Horatio as well. 2 moves in the space of literally about a few seconds there, as Fearless is up into 5th, Magfire onto the podium and Fearless into 5th. Warren and Horatio losing the positions each down to 4th and 6th respectively. Jaffa Cake very close on the back of Nemvidic right now. Look at this 8/10 between them.
Jaffa Cake, he has a 3-second penalty, so if it overtakes Nemvidic, he's going to lose it anyway.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed that. Very good spot there. So that will mean that Jaffa Cake will lose out, obviously, once we get to the end of this race, once we cross the line to finish. But Horatio within 9/10 of Fearless, obviously having lost that position. Fearless moved up into P5 at the end of that previous lap. Mr. Basil's crashed out of the race on the last lap. Oh no! What a shame. Let's ride on board with Raki here and see if we can spot Mr. Basil's car.
He retired in the pits.
Oh, did he retire?
Yeah.
Whatever for? It's the last lap.
Yeah, I think he just thought it was meaningless if he was going to finish.
Well, Joram's taken the win here. He's crossed the line. He is the race winner here for the Russian Grand Prix. Round 13 of the season goes to Joram. Another win. Extends his gap at the top of the championship standings. Aldrich Affis comes over to take a P2. A great drive from him on his Motive Racing debut. Magfire comes around the final corner, and it's going to be a podium finish here for Magfire. Fastest lap of the race as well. We knew that he came into the pits looking to try and get that, and he has duly gone and done it. Warren over in 4th, wins it as he crosses the line, loses his front wing as a result. Fearless takes 5th. A decent comeback there after that skirmish when he was battling for the lead with Joram. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Look, as he's up into 8th place there. Horatio comes over in 6th. Jay Contra out of the final corner up towards the line. It's going to be a 7th place finish for Jay Contra. Jaffa Cake looks like he's going to get that 8th place, having made the move on Nemvidic on the final lap. So here he comes, Jaffa Cake over the line, and in fact Nemvidic gets it on the penalties, like you said, Game for Life. You called that one perfectly. Rednass is coming in towards the final few corners, and it's going to be a P10 here for Rednass. Not a bad result, as we see Raki and DJ Phil moving up into 11th and 12th as a result of Mr. Basil crashing out of the race, or retiring at the end. But that is
Singapore next week.
Singapore next week, so that is going to be an interesting one for sure. Make sure you join us next week at Singapore. It's going to be carnage, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone finishes. Yeah, I bet.
I'm probably gonna crash this too, so be ready for me to be in that commentary too.
If you want to retire from racing and just commentate, you're more than welcome. It's good to have an extra voice in the commentary box. I do get quite lonely in here, so it's always nice to have some company in the box. So thank you, Game for Life, for joining me once again.
Thank you for letting me join.
No, it's a pleasure. So that's the race then, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Red Bull taking the win. Obviously, Jalram taking yet another victory this season and extending his gap in the point standings at the top of the Motive Racing F1 League here on a Friday night on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. It's Ultra Cathis taking second with Magpie completing the podium. Warren fourth, Phyllis fifth.
Top three, especially the reserves.
Absolutely brilliant stuff there. Magpie taking the fastest lap. Horatio finishing in 6th with Jay Contra 7th, Nebinich 8th, Jaffa Cake 9th. Rednas completing the top 10, getting the final point there. Raki, DJ Phil, Mr. Basil San finishing the race. Hats off to those guys for getting to the end. Game for Life unfortunately retired early on, but joined me in the box and we did a great job there on the stream, I think, buddy. But that is that then, ladies and gentlemen, for this week here at Russia. Join us next week at Singapore, same place, same time, unless we have a simply awful turnout, in which case we'll have to delay it to the next week. But fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen again. But thanks everybody, and wait, hold on a sec. Where's OBS? Where's OBS? Where's OBS? Where's it gone? Hold on. What the hell? OBS isn't showing on my computer. What's happening? Whoa. What the hell? What the hell's happening? Where's it gone? Okay, OBS has just closed. I don't know what's happened here. It's still showing, the stream's still running, but OBS is gone. What the hell? I don't know what's happening here, I really don't. The stream is still going, but OBS has crashed. How weird is that? Right, we're going to just quickly get well, don't know how we're going to do this, to be fair.
It couldn't handle two voices at the same time.
Yeah, probably. Oh my days. Well, I can't end the stream. I'm going to have to end it on the actual YouTube bit itself. But once again, a big thank you to everybody who joined us live on the YouTube stream. Drop a like and join us at motiveracing.com. Also join XLF1 League as well in the description down below the Motive Racing link. We're going to get off, guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you later.
Bye.